Hi, I'm Victoria.
I'm Laura.
I'm Francesca.
And welcome to Novel Nights. Yay! So today is a really chatty episode. You know, we're spilling all the bookish tea. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, if you've seen some topics and conversations and stuff online that you've been dying to talk to someone about, well, come, let us know about it in the comments, because we're going to get into all the bookish tea that we can fit into our hour of Novel Night. So again, if this is something you're interested in, stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Francesca.
I'm Victoria.
I'm Laura.
And welcome to Novel Nights. Yay! Hi everyone, welcome to Novel Nights. We're chatting all things, just bookish news, bookish gossip, just everything that's been happening. This is our chatty bookish chat. So if you have some topics that you want us to talk about, let us know in the comments. We do have an agenda of things that we'd like to talk to you all with. But first, we want to welcome some special guests. So we have friends joining us because we have lots and lots to chat about. So the first person I'd like to welcome up is Becky. Hi, Becky. How's it going?
I'm so excited to be here for the chatty episode.
Yes.
I feel like this is the first chat I'm having in like a week with other people. So
Yay! Well, we're super happy you're here. And also joining us is our friend Kelly. Hey, Kelly.
Hello. So happy to be here.
Yay! I'm thrilled to have you all here with us. We usually start our chats with what's new for the week. So I'll just go first. What's new for the week? Not much really. Lots of work on the back end. I did a website move. So if you're a newsletter subscribers, if you browse the website on a regular, bibliolifestyle.com has a new look. I won't say it's much of a rebrand. You know, we're not really into that phase. It's more a technical move. But I got it off my shoulders yesterday. So I'm really excited about it. We'll be making tweaks in the week ahead. So there's that. I'm also watching Apple TV's Lady in the Lake. I've been recapping that on my channel. Episode 3 was giving, so I'm excited to watch episode 4 tomorrow so I can recap it with you all on Monday, live on YouTube here. So yeah, that's new with me. But what's been going on with you, Laura?
So I launched a Substack. I am very excited. So today was the first day that I share my newsletter. So if you want to join, you can join at WhatToReadNextBlog/newsletter. And there's like bookish news, like Francine Pascal passed away, she's the author of Sweet Valley High. So it's some sad news, and there was some fun news about like some Winter Olympics. Well, not winter, swimming, like Summer Olympics. Where I'm just longing for winter, but I'm loving the Summer Olympics. So I've been watching the gymnastics, the swimming, and the surfing, and I have some listicles to talk about. So I got surfing and water sports available on Kindle Unlimited. So just been working, just creating content, and then watching the Olympics like it's my business, and I just want to be an Olympian.
I just want to chime in and say, I feel like I'm the newsletter grandmother, and I love Laura's newsletter, y'all. So find her on Substack. We'll have links in the show notes, but I loved it. And yes, I'm loving the Olympics too. Can't believe I forgot to mention that. Katie Ledecky, Simone Biles, rugby, soccer team, everybody's killing it. But Fran, what's new with you this week?
So I'm also doing kind of a move. It's more of my community is moving from the current platform also to Substack. It's not going to be a regular newsletter on Substack, but the community is moving there. So there was a lot of technical setting up and also planning and plotting lots of new content. So it's actually going live, I think, tomorrow. So we'll be dropping links for that. And then watching the Olympics, I did lots of that too, especially last weekend. I loved the opening ceremony too, which I got to finally watch it over the weekend. And then I've been just kind of like watching this really long telenovela on Netflix. So all the angst and all the messiness. So I think I'm like 60 episodes in right now.
Title, please. Tell me the title.
The Queen of Flow.
Oh, my mom watched that one. She spent like a weekend binging the whole telenovela. She was like, I can't stop watching this. It's so
It
good.
is so addictive. It's so good. Highly recommended. It's a hot mess. I mean, hot mess.
This is the Colombian one that she wants to be a rapper.
Exactly. So she was like a teenager at 16. So there was like two friends of hers, and they were gonna have this group together, and one of them, his uncle is like in the mob and drugs and stuff. So she sees the one friend of hers who's like her boyfriend basically, committing like this robbery, and then he's like, I gotta get rid of her because she knows too much. So he plants drugs in her luggage when they go to New York. I think they were going for like trying to see if they were gonna make it, and she spent 17 years in jail for it. But of course, now she wants revenge.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a juicy revenge, let me
I'm
tell
hooked
you.
already.
So good.
That's so exciting. Okay, Becky, what's new for you this week? What's been happening?
Well, this is my first time upright. So I had COVID this week. I'm feeling a lot better.
Oh,
So I basically just caught up on a lot of my audiobooks. I just finished The Backtrack by Erin Rosa, which I loved. Finished a gargoyle romance, got some Orkin, all the monsters,
we need the title.
Okay, wait, I never remember titles. That's my problem. So let me just pop it up here. We got, okay, I did A Gargoyle's Delight.
Ooh.
Perfect. Short, sweet, to the point.
Yeah.
Yes. No mysteries.
The Lady and the Orc. I re-listened to that a little bit because I needed it. I needed an orc romance. I really did not. That's a self-help book. It's not a romance. So yeah, and then I watched a lot of. Have you guys seen The Last Kingdom on Netflix? It's like a Viking show.
I've seen a few. I went through a Vikings phase, and so I did definitely watch a few different Vikings shows and movies, like whatever I could get my hands on, like very dirty, like literally,
It's
like
just,
covered in
like
grime.
Swords fighting in dirt. And I just like, yeah. So I think I'm in my Vikings era. So I've been watching that a lot, and I feel weird. I don't even know if this is real right now, but I'm so happy.
Oh my gosh. Well, Kelly, you're next. What's been new this week? What have you been doing? I'm guessing writing is involved.
A lot of writing, because I am well past the deadline that I set for myself to finish my upcoming book. I am making some great progress. I just wish it had happened a month or two ago, but I'm trying to give myself grace and, realize that, maybe the book will still come out on time. I have no doubt about that. It just might mean a little less time with ARC readers this time around. And I have to say, I've actually been really thankful that everyone has been really forgiving. Like, I've posted several times on my channels, kind of just apologizing to readers for like getting their hopes up a little too early, or and the response has been take your time, girl, and we'll read it when it's here. So that's been great. But aside from writing, I have also been enjoying a lot of the Olympics. And I have to say, it's not my usual go-to. Like, I'm not a I'm not an Olympics watcher usually, but there's something about this group of athletes and this year that I am loving it. And I think I'm living for the online content, the behind the scenes content from the athletes as much as I am the games themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're taking us into like this really unique place. Because when you think about it, like the Olympic Village is kind of locked down. It's like athletes, necessary people, and so on. But we're getting a behind the scenes thing. And I know I'm forgetting her name, Iona. She has made it like the Love Island Villa. So
there's also the Swedish, I think he's Swedish, a Swedish athlete who is having this like ongoing joke that he's having a love affair with the chocolate muffins.
Yes.
That they serve.
That was this morning. This morning, that was the news.
It's just so great. And I think that's why I'm enjoying it, is it's making it feel a lot more relatable. Like you feel like, oh, these are people that are just like us. They just happen to like be able to spin their bodies all the way around in ways I never would have imagined was possible.
Yeah.
I agree. And I even think the news coverage, because I'll have like the telly on while I'm, cooking, eating, doing things, is also very relatable. I think they're taking cues from social media and kind of giving us that content, because I've learned so much more about them just on their day-to-day and their personal. And like, for example, I was surprised to know, I don't know if you all know this, but Suni Lee, one of the US gymnasts, she was the winner of the all-around event at the last Olympics. And when she came back home, she had a hard time dealing with the fame, for example. But I learned all this behind the scenes stuff about her. She was like, I couldn't handle it. She ended up doing online classes. She also had a very terrible experience with some stalking, unfortunately. She had health problems. She had kidneys. She had blown up, which I can't even imagine. She didn't even think she was going to be there. But I think hearing all these things, I'm like, whoa. Clearly you have stuff too beyond training, because obviously they train. Our training is on the couch watching the television and feeding our face. Like they're doing the work. Like I think I can do these things, but no.
Yeah.
But they're more relatable, I feel. I think even mainstream media is taking cues from social. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and if I can put out a request as romance readers, we need a romance like the Stephen, oh God, what's his last name?
Men's Gymnastics. Yeah.
Yes.
Men's Gymnastics.
Him and the girlfriend.
Pommel
Like, that's going to be a book. If it exists, somebody tell me what that is, because
it's happening. It's happening. Like from the author spaces, I have already seen several people say that he has inspired.
Yeah.
And can we talk about Snoop Dogg attending every single event? Like, does he have a time turner thing? Because he's at every single event. Like, without that, pretty plausible. Sure. Like, if he can't, he could go to Tahiti and be in surfing.
And you know what? It's so funny. I know you just said wholesome, and I think that's part of the appeal. Is that so many people are loving the content with Snoop Dogg, Flavor Flav, who I hadn't seen on a screen in 15 years, and the men's gymnastics team, the women's rugby team. Like they're doing so much like wholesome content that you forget about the competition aspect. It's just them having fun.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, my favorite clip was Snoop Dogg in the pool with Michael Phelps, the Michael Phelps, like swimming.
Swim left,
you see Snoop
swim
going
right.
right. That was the content I didn't know I needed, but it just it hit, and I like that. I like that non-serious. That's what I'm telling you. I think even the mainstream media is taking cues from social media. Like, it is just.
And I have to say, having it in Paris, it's a European time zone, so it's afternoon time for us. So it's not like we're staying late at night or in the middle of the night. I feel like it should stay in Europe just to keep us, during daytime viewing, just to have that, and then just get the digest at prime time.
Yeah, I'm already dreading Los Angeles.
Becky will come next time.
Yeah. I told myself when I still lived in LA that I was going to move before the Olympics made it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Anyways, that was a great 15 minutes of catching up. Now the rest of our show is dedicated to the mess. all the mess. So time for a reset. Okay, welcome back to Novel Nights. We are super excited to get into some of the bookish tea, the bookish happenings, just everything from the serious to the raise your eyebrow to the completely trivial. We're here to chat about it all. First up, one of the topics for conversation has to do with, let me check my notes, special editions. Okay, I do have a little screenshot here. My girl Laura is gonna kind of really take over on this one because I'm not the what do you call it? Special editions guru of the group. So Laura, go for it.
So we've noticed, especially with the romance community, there's a lot of special editions, a lot of different price points, different opportunities, and the market for special editions is a big market. So there's a big reseller market in Mercari. There's some special editions that people are paying thousands of dollars to get to. That's the state of it. So Rita Ken came out with a luxury bundle of 6 books. Their cost $499. And it has been an uproar on Threads. Basically, people are like, "This is too expensive. Like, this is price gouging. Like, what is happening?" And this is Rita Ken's statement. She says, "I did this for me. I did this for like super collectors, people who want to. She doesn't want people to go in financial debt to buy these special editions. And you can choose to buy them, you can choose not to buy them, but it's a lot of it. The books are worth the money. Is it worth the money paying $500? Maybe not. But the books are linen covers. They have special foil. They have a lot of upgrades. So it's supposed to meet the value, and it's expensive just to do special editions. But I know this has been an uproar of this special edition conversation, and I think it's as a book collector, it is worth it if you're a collector. But if you're not and you're just buying to resell it, then maybe not.
So I'm curious, y'all, what do we think about the special edition market? Like, okay, it's open season. I love collecting books. I mean, have you seen some of the shelves? I have many boxes. I'm for sure a fine edition person. Okay, so if you're watching this, you'll know. Tomorrow in the newsletter, we're doing Thomas Hardy, right? And I have to say, I was actually counting how many editions I have of Tess de Nuremberg. I was also counting Far From the Madding Crowd, which is my personal favorite. So I'm one of those people who will buy multiple editions. I think Rebecca has a whole bunch. I'm a classic nerd, so I buy those. But I also buy contemporaries as well. So maybe I'm not the best person to chime in because I do hunt down those rare books. But what do y'all think?
I am a fan. Oh, go ahead, Becky.
No, you go ahead. You started. Go ahead.
No, I am a fan of special editions, specifically if it's from somebody who I adore. Like I love going to book signings, both as an author and a reader. And I am happy to try books by authors that I haven't read yet. However, I think I save special editions for somebody I have read and I have enjoyed, and I want to keep that book on my bookshelf, not just as a book to read and reread, but almost like as a piece of art or a trophy of kind. Like I feel like that's sort of the way that a lot of readers measure their achievements is I have this book. I have this book to prove that I am a dedicated fan to this author. And I think that can be both good and bad. But you know what? If you have the money for it and you love that book and you love that author's work, I don't see the harm in it. I'm working on a special edition myself right now.
What do you think, Becky?
I mean, I agree with you, Kelly. Like I like pretty things that are sparkly to look at, but I do think like in this instance, there was a sort of miscommunication, I would say. I feel like that ad made it seem like, oh, this book is for my super fans. And if you're not my super fans, that means you don't have $500 to afford my book. And I think maybe there might have been like people feeling perhaps like, oh, well, I can't afford that. I guess that means like she doesn't appreciate me as a fan. And so I just think there was a lot of like miscommunication, just looking at the comments and things like that.
Laura, is that what the other threads are?
No, the other threats are for the other one. So there are another two.
There's always more.
What's the other one?
The other T is for Illuminacray doing a special edition for an author who's rewriting her YA book into romantasy. So she's basically updating. So there's special editions for a book that was already published as a YA book. It's beautiful. Illuminacray is basically a special edition market. That's what they do. They do book boxes. And the author is rewriting, rethinking, and basically adding sex scenes.
Yeah.
So I guess kind of, bringing that in, even though I know we have a whole separate topic for that one as well. But I guess it's fair to say authors are taking advantage of the special edition market, which part of me is starting to wonder, like, I hear Becky in that maybe the way they went about it, the discourse got a bit messy. But here's a good example. I was seriously considering, do I pay my mortgage or do I buy this brand new set of Shakespeare folios, the original $1,500 last Christmas? They were only printing 1,000. And I'm like,
it's that FOMO. That FOMO kicks in.
But there's also the market of book boxes. Like, how many book boxes do we have? And everyone's starting with book boxes. Like, it's like, and then you have wait lists because there's certain book boxes that people are buying so they can resell it for double, triple, or 4 times the price.
Right. Yeah.
Well, see, I think that's really the question, right? And look, this is capitalism at its best. It's
good. I'm glad you said it and not me.
Listen, I'll say it. And my bookshelf is capitalism all over. Like, I'm chucking things in there, and I have many more. I'm just saying, first off, I did not succumb to the $1,500 purchase. Okay, full disclosure. I did not. So let me just tell you how that story went. But I will tell you, I was like, it's $1,000. I'm like, how many people are going to buy this? And this is a UK printer, mind you. I ain't going to put their name out there, but it's a UK printer. And I was like, I'll have time. If I survive the holiday season and I come out okay, and I'm like, I would consider it again. And then it sold out. All 1,000 sets. I nearly lost my mind. I'm like, wait, what? And they say we're broke, and they say we're in a recession and money is tight. But no, it's clear. People prioritize it. So I guess what I'm trying to say is this has been done a million times by classic authors. And we've seen, again, I'm counting how many editions of this one I have and that one I have. So I guess my question is, when you see authors like, this one doing it and other authors, like, is it really that such a bad thing? Or are they just taking advantage of the market?
It's a tricky line to walk, I think, because capitalism. I knew this was going to come up. I'm just glad I wasn't the first one to say it.
Facts, though.
But capitalism is such a predatory system, and so I think there's this fine line to walk as an author of how do I fit into this to make sure that my stuff is getting out there. But how am I not...
Get the regular books.
How am I not taking advantage of my readers at the same time? And what's interesting is I feel like with a lot of the authors that I know I engage with, they create special editions because their readers ask for them. And so it's definitely, there is a demand for it. So I think regardless of, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Is it being demanded or is it being given to you and then you want it? I'm not sure.
Yeah, because there's also demand for discrete covers. There's a demand for original covers. There's a demand for indie versus print.
Yeah.
There's always something. You just want to be like the one who has the whole collection. I think, and it's also the mindset of the TikTok creator who has discovered Kindle Unlimited, read it on the Kindle, and then it's like, no, I need to have my prized possession. I need to have it not just in physical form, multiple physical forms, but I also need to have an audio. I need to have it in all the different ways. And it's just an opportunity to showcase, I guess, the special trophies that we just have.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it, and it's like supply and demand. It also makes what you have more valuable. So like for me, I'm not in the resale market. Okay, I buy what I want and What did Carrie Bradshaw say? She likes her money in her closet. I like my money in my bookshelves. And yes, I have in my closet. Okay, books are in there. That's for another YouTube video tour one day, maybe. But on a more serious note, for me, it makes the value of my stuff go up. So like, it just makes me feel good. Like, okay, they only did 100 of these books or 1,000 or 500, and I have one. And I would be lying if I didn't say when I go online and I see that the value has increased, I'm like, yes, and I have it. And I was chatting just this past weekend at book club, and one of my book club members was saying, hi, Jacqueline, was saying that she collects Alice in Wonderland, and we were going through the editions, and I have Alice's, and then I had an Alice she didn't have. That is hard to get because, again, limited print. So it's like, you know, it's like coin collectors, stamp collectors,
baseball cards.
It's like Comic-Con style Funko Pop dolls.
I mean, Barbie dolls that are still in boxes.
Oh yeah,
like memorabilia, you know, Teletubby things. So
Beanie Babies.
Beanie things, I'm telling you. So
Apple cats.
I still have a Princess Diana. I'm going to pay my mortgage with that.
that's so funny.
I think that like people like are forgetting that, like, not forgetting, but and I'm one of them, but that like the world of like bookishness is an industry. This is a publishing industry, and it just happens to also be a lifestyle, be something we enjoy, be people's hobbies. And like I feel like with a lot of these things, it's all about like context. Like, what does this mean to you? You know?
Yeah.
And I think things will come and go too. Like I think book boxes, we've seen them come and go. We've seen certain kinds of merch be very popular for a while and then go away. But I do think that special editions are something that will probably kind of stand the test of time, because there will always be fans. There will always be readers who love those books. So I see them sticking around.
I do too.
Yeah,
but I loved what Becky said. I think they're personal. So it's fair to say we can't just have like a blanket statement or view on these things, because it is personal. Again, it's a personal reason why I buy these things. They give me joy. And to someone else, it might be a business. Maybe that's how they make money, you know, buying, selling, trading, because that I know so many people who flip. That's what the word is. I'll try to remember. They're flippers. That's their thing.
Oh.
So
Book flippers or house flippers?
Book flippers. Book flippers.
Yeah, special edition flippers. They're flipping it. They're flipping it. But okay, we have lots of tea to chat about. Another one on the docket. I actually uploaded this one, so I'll just do a quick run through. It's the plagiarism lawsuit. Okay, now I'm blind, but this is Tracy Wolf. So Lynn Freeman, right at the top here, y'all can't see my mouse and I don't have a marker. And then Tracy Wolf, the author, and all the agents, from the agent to the publisher to the this to the that, everyone being sued because Lynn Freeman, plaintiff, is saying that her work was plagiarized. Now, this is really long. It goes into all the details of the grounds for plagiarism, how it came to be. And then there's this beautiful section here called Overwhelming Similarities between her work and then the work that was published. So her book was called Blue Moon Rising, and the book in question by Tracy Wolf is Crave. And you have like one column here to the left, one column to the right, and it goes on and on and on. As you can see, lengthy document. There's some highlights here. I was hoping this was a highlighted document on words. So you'll see here Blue Moon Rising, Crave, and just how some sentence structures are similar. So from the plot to how it's similar and all these different things. I just want to let you all know I got this document from the lovely folks. Let me just go back to the first page. The lovely folks on Reddit. And I like to cite my sources. So MJ Spice on Reddit had the link to the document. So, thank you for posting it. So it's available for public viewing and searching. What did you all think about this lawsuit? It made the rounds on TikTok. It made the rounds on social media. How did you all feel? First off, did you all know Tracy Wolf? I can just say right now, no. Did I read the Crave thing? No. So I don't really have stake in this one. but we saw that the lawsuit was filed. What's the date on this lawsuit? Hold
I think
on.
2 years ago.
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I find it super interesting. Yeah, here it is, 3/25/22. So that would be March 25th, 2022. We're in 2024. So my question to y'all is, it started making the rounds, I feel, unless you all saw it sooner, on social media this summer.
Yeah.
What were the reactions? Francesca, how did you feel hearing about this one?
I mean, I haven't read the book, but I have seen it. It was on my TBR. It's kind of one of those books that fell off my TBR because I forgot about it, but I did want to read it. And I was shocked only because like it was such a popular series. I mean, I'm sure it still is. So it was kind of shocking to me to see that that would have happened. Also, that we're now just hearing about it when it was filed 2 years ago, but it definitely exploded on social media. Lots of opinions. I've seen a lot of from both sides. I would say, like the ones that they feel that there's not enough there, and they don't think anything's going to come of it, and also the ones that feel that there's enough similarities there to feel that it was completely plagiarized. So I think it's really all going to come down to, I don't know. I don't think that the author is going to get in trouble for this for sure. Let's put that out there. If anything, it's probably going to fall on the agent. Like, even if it doesn't get resolved in any way, shape, or form, I don't think that she's going to have as much credibility in the community and with her clients or getting new clients. I know if I was shopping for an agent, if I was looking to get published, I would not be looking at her. So I don't know, but I feel like it's sad for the fans. That's kind of like where I stand on it, because I was not really involved with it too much. And we deal with so many plagiarism claims and stuff. But I was just sad for the fans because there's so many, that truly, truly loved it. And I think that there's a huge fan base that I'm sure they're feeling let down. So I'm kind of sad for that part.
What about you, Becky?
I did first of all, my first thought is I went on a deep dive on TikTok, and so many people were like, I read all 80 pages of this, so you don't have to. And I'm just like, I had time to read it. And I was like, was it steamy? Was it good? But no. I will say, just hearing some of the details, and I feel weird making an opinion because I didn't read all 80 pages and I'm not a legal person. There were some unique similarities, and given that there were personal relationships happening, I don't know. It's like you don't know. You don't know what like happened during a phone call or what happened when they were having lunch and someone pitched an idea and the agent pitched an idea. It's tricky.
Yeah, I agree. It's for sure tricky. I mean, Laura, did you read the series? What did you think? I mean, what are your thoughts on this one?
So Kelly and I would both talk to Tracy Wolf once upon a time back in 2020, 2021. And at the time, I had no interest. She came on the show for a different book, and I was like interested in that book. And then she was the most popular. It was a co-author situation. She was the most popular author, and people were raving about this series because the series is kind of like pitched as like another Twilight. It looks like Twilight books. It's another Twilight here. And so I was just like, it sounds, I understand like there are similarities, but I can see both sides. This is likely to get settled. Like, I don't think we're going to see more of this. I think this is not going to go to jury trial for this civil case. This is likely to just get settled. They're going to pay a lot of legal fees for something that's just like, it's not going to get any resolution.
I think my question is, why didn't they settle before? Why did it get to this point? Because I agree with you. Most lawsuits get settled 100%. Why did it get to this point where, why couldn't this have been worked out sooner? Kelly, what are you thinking?
That was kind of my question as well, because this is actually one of two lawsuits within the romance book community that like I'm aware of from this year.
What's the other one?
The other one is the Pippa Grant versus Pippa Green lawsuit, which was settled. So I just, and I wish I knew more details to like be able to share about that one. I don't. I do know that as somebody who I do follow Pippa Grant, and I've engaged with her books and with her personally. I know that she's spoken like pretty openly about it on her platform. So if people want to investigate it, they can. But we see, it's sad to say, we see like a plagiarism call out once a month these days, especially on either TikTok or Twitter. And it's just wild to me, especially when you put things side by side to be able to pick out, because that's what people want, right? Is they want the proof. They want to see what exactly was plagiarized. And I find that too often it's usually a bigger, wider audienced author and a smaller indie published, less known author that is typically being the one taken advantage of. And so but most of the time they don't progress to lawsuits, or at least I don't see them progress to lawsuits. I don't know what happens behind closed doors. So I'm always kind of curious about the ones that actually do make it as far as they do. And I would have to assume it has to do with what resources people have to be able to hire a legal team. Because that's not cheap. So that's kind of my guess, is usually it's a little bit more guilty by public opinion or word of mouth that happens with these things, as opposed to somebody being actually found liable or having to pay out something. So I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, but I'm really curious for folks watching. Like, let me know. Let us know in the comments. What do you think? How do you feel about these plagiarism lawsuits? Do you think there's any merit to them? This one in particular, the one Kelly mentioned, or any of the other lawsuits that kind of seem to pop up every so often. Let us know in the comments what you think. Replay crew, we want to hear from you as well. And also, if you had something to say on the special editions, we definitely want to hear from you too. Another thing I wanted to bring up, and this is something I found on the internet, and I just wanted to share it, is the TikTok Book Awards. Okay, so TikTok had a book award, and the headline I saw that caught my attention is that they named Rebecca Yaros's Fourth Wing as International Book of the Year. Now, I also have the article itself opened, and they also listed some other winners. So Book of the Year is None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. However, Book of the Year, the international, like all over, because this event was held in London. Fourth Wing is the international one. Book Talk Breakthrough Author is Talia Hibbert. Book Talk Creator of the Year is Maisie Matilda. Book Talk Rising Star Creator is John Paul Conronmi. Sorry if I butchered your last name, honestly. John Paul Conronmi. Indie Bookshop of the Year is the Bookshop by the Sea, and TikTok Shop Book of the Year, so meaning this book I guess sold well on TikTok Shop, is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore. But the thing that caught my attention is this International Book of the Year. What did y'all think about that announcement?
I think that makes sense. I mean, it was such a popular book, so it kind of makes sense that that was the book of the year, especially internationally. I can't go past this and not talk about the fact that they named Talia Hibbert as a breakthrough.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
That is the news. That is the news.
Talia Hibbert is such a big name, and she's been a big name for so long.
For years.
Even if she starts selling on TikTok, that doesn't mean you're breaking through.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. In defense of Talia, I love Talia, by the way. I love her books. Yes, she's been a big deal, especially when she did that the Brown Sisters series. I think that really catapulted her.
Yep.
But I'm going to say, I think they're thinking about it by book talk standards. So it's like, she's the breakthrough author on Book Talk. Not that she's the breakthrough
There are
author.
others.
No,
That's not author. They will have a big audience on TikTok anyway, because they're bringing that fan base and they're bringing other creators that already are fans talking about her. So that's not breaking through.
This was kind of my question about it too. I was like, by what metrics are we picking the winners? Like I don't know, because, and I know Laura and I have talked about this many times of like what's popular, especially in romance on Book Talk, is not necessarily the books that I would be recommending to people to read. So that's not to say that they clearly have their audience. Like that's not the problem. But yeah, I'm always curious with any kind of awards.
Okay, so
criteria is and who's voting.
Okay, hold on. Found the criteria. Let me read it real quick. The shortlist at the TikTok Book Awards was chosen by a panel of figures from the literary and media world. They don't say. The winners are then selected by the book. Wait. So people in the literary media world, then the winners are selected by the Book Talk community, with 82,000 people casting their votes online. So it's clear they had some voting system. And then it says, of course, TikTok says more than 35 million videos have been made using the hashtag BookTok, making it one of the largest sub-communities on the platform. So essentially it was voted on by folks. I'm just gonna go on a limb and say that. But yeah,
it's popular.
It's a still small number to be voted. Like in the data space, it's a pretty small number, 82,000 in comparison to millions of people. I'm thinking of the content that comes out of book talks and book talk recommendations. The Brown Sisters, it's never there. And
I agree. And I love Talia.
It's never. It's not a book that gets recommended as a book talk book or breakthrough. I would expect Anna Huang. I would expect Elsie Silver. I'll expect like the bigger titles that we see. The H.G. Carlton,
Also,
this is not a book that we normally see as a book talk recommended.
No.
Also, like, how did they find those 82,000 people? Like, where did they go for the, like, did you guys, because like I am on TikTok and I do browse on Book Talk and I have an account. So like, how did they find the 82,000?
And as somebody who uses the Book Talk hashtag, with every video I post, and I'm assuming most of us do, I don't remember ever seeing anything about voting for the Book Talk Awards. I don't remember seeing any kind of advertisement about it or what. So I have no idea like when that even happened.
I mean, it's just British.
Like, you know, there's the Academy Awards. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Is there like a it is just like, well, okay, you have to name who these media experts and literary people are, I think, in order for it to be like
valid.
You know what I mean? And so, like, what do they do? Are they aficionados in the industry? Is it Tom Hanks? Is it the Tom Hanks? No.
Or maybe it was only book talkers in the UK because it was held there. So that could also be the case. And Talia is from the UK. So maybe.
Okay, so that makes a little bit more sense. And again, none of this is to shade Talia Hibbert either, because her books are fire, but I wish I saw them on TikTok.
Rebecca Yarros is American, though. I think it was
but they specifically call that an international winner.
Yeah, but Lisa Jewell is London. It's the UK author. So I think this is a UK award that we're just having an opinion that we should not be having, because maybe it's big in the UK.
Yeah, maybe it's possible. Yeah.
See, it's funny because they call it the TikTok Book Awards. Like, TikTok is obviously international, global. I'm just assuming they chose London as the venue to host the awards. Like, if it were to survive, another round, another year. I mean, I've never heard of the Book Talk Awards, so this is the first time I'm hearing about it. So I'm just assuming it's a venue. It could be one of those things like the Olympics. You change locations every hosting. I think it's just a location. I really don't think it has none to do, because I'm scanning the article. I don't see anywhere where they're saying it's a London-based event or it was created in London or
Right.
anything. It was
Then
just
again, I feel like all of these award things always get things like messed up anyway, like Goodreads Choice Awards and etc. So
we debated the New York Times top 100 books in a previous live, and again, they listed the authors to what Becky was saying.
Yeah.
They listed the authors who participated. But the problem with that was they had no baseline. Best was an individual decision. So my best obviously is going to be different from your best and everyone else's. So I think, that's kind of the situation. But we also have another chat on the note of, all these changes is book genres. And I'm going to throw this to Laura.
So we talked briefly about this, but with the rise of romantasy, I guess like YA fantasy is no longer in the bigger, like what it used to look like 5-10 years ago. And so romantasy, having sex scenes, having younger adult or adulter people, like grown up, I don't know how to say 18 to 30, doing they're having sexy times. That's now what we're looking for. So we see the Limited Crate giving a book deal to Elizabeth Mays to rewrite her books reimagine her story from YA to an adult setting.
I'm not
it's the rise of romantasy.
It's a money grab. It's a money grab.
This is
okay. So really quick, just so folks can, kind of see, like that's a screenshot. That's screenshot number 1 that they're happy to announce all that stuff. Here's just so more receipts of them kind of discussing their decision to essentially do all of that. So I mean, what do you all think?
Just write another series, another fantasy series with sex, and that's it. Like you are good at writing fantasy, write a romantasy, but leave that one alone. Otherwise,
it's no longer in print. It's no longer in print, so you're no longer able to get the YA version of it. So those are special editions.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Only get the sex.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, see, this is kind of what I was alluding to. It overlaps with the earlier conversation, which is why I kind of wanted to bring it in, because we were talking about special editions earlier, but now this is like a whole genre thing as well.
Yeah, no, it is interesting. And generally, I do agree. I'm just thinking, write another series, knowing though that they did take the like originals off the market in order to like redevelop it. I will say I do understand that a bit more from like the author perspective, because that happens a lot of times, not necessarily to do like a genre change, but it happens a lot when somebody decides that they want to go back and make changes and re-upload a newer version of their book, usually as a special edition. But I have to say, I don't usually hear about it happening in this capacity, where it's more or less the same story. You're just aging up the characters and adding some more spice to it. So I don't know. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Like I just feel like there's other things that we could be doing.
Yeah.
Facts. What do you think, Becky?
I have a lot of thoughts, and I feel like, for me as a romance reader, no matter what book I am reading, no matter the genre, everything in it needs to be earned. So if we're just going to read like a very like good YA book, and then suddenly there's sex in it, that doesn't seem like, where did that come from? I don't know. I'm just like, I think right now I'm kind of getting annoyed with like differentiating YA and new adult and all these things, when it should be really like TV ratings, of like, this is rated PG, this is rated PG-13. Because like, I'm just like, with Fourth Wing or something like that, like everyone's calling that new adult, but she's 20, but then you have books like Catcher in the Rye where he's 20 or whatever, and that's not new adult. Like, it's just like, how are we making these genre distinctions? And I think
I think they're making it up as they go along. They're making it up as they go along.
Just like the star rating system. I mean, just like when we're labeling things romance versus women's fiction, like I feel like the terms are so ubiquitous at this point that it's just like sometimes they even cause more confusion than they do good marketing.
Yeah.
I just
Well,
think
there's a
like-
new imprint that names new adult from 18 to 30. Like,
Whoa.
I'm
Whoa.
like, your brain is fully formed at 30.
That
so
is
it's
probably 80% of the contemporary romance market.
I mean, if that's true, then, you know, as somebody who's 33, I'm barely past being a new adult, and I'll take that. I feel like I could get away with a lot more stuff.
It's just weird when like books are just like looking at like the maturity level of a character, of a creation, in order
Right.
to like kind of say who the audience is for it. You know what I mean? Like this isn't like characterize your books however you want to, but let's not like tell other people what they're reading. You know, let people read what they want. You know.
Yeah, I think, this is where I feel the art of books and the art of writing and then marketing clash.
Yeah.
Right. It isn't a this and like we're in this together. I feel it's more like this. So like the author is saying this is what we're doing, and then they're like, this is how we're selling it because this is how we can sell it. I'm also wondering if they're redoing genres and reclassifying genres just to sell. Because the thing is, you know how they always say when you're pitching your book, you know, pitch comps, but then also pitch your audience and pitch this and pitch that. So I'm like, in order, psychologically speaking, in order to make things more appealing, now you're saying we're casting this wider net. So now this category is so much bigger because I get confused with YA and new adults. I really do. And now I'm actually starting to think maybe we should do like ratings, kind of like Becky said, like for TV, because it's easy. Like, because also from a parent point of view,
It's very hard.
You know, how do you, what's the word I'm trying to look for you? How do you know what content is there without you first reading it yourself? And you don't have time for that. I'm gonna tell you that right now, which is why my mom never cared. And I don't care. It's just once you're reading, I'm good. And I trust kids will police themselves. But like for those parents who do want to know, it's like, is this G-rated? Okay, great. Is this PG-13? Okay, this is appropriate for my child. Is this, 18 plus? Cool. And then after that, it's just, in my opinion, after that, it's like it's a free-for-all. You're on your own because you're an adult kind of vibe.
Yeah, I understand that. That makes sense. And I like that you explain that from like the author point of view or from the parent point of view, because I do think that, I mean, we can think about it with like movies and TV shows as well, that there are so many out there that are about teenagers, but it's not necessarily a movie that is marketed towards kids and teenagers. So I think it's a very similar thing with romance, as well.
Yeah, I think that's why you always will find parents saying, like, is this steamy? Is this spicy? And I know there's a whole separate conversation with that, but just on the purity of the question, some people just want to know because it looks cute and they're like, oh my God, yes. But then it's like, it might not be for the reader. So it would be nice to have a more transparent
I agree.
thing for sure. On that note of like ratings and stuff, let's talk about the authors demanding reviews, shall we? Like authors demanding a certain star rating.
Yeah.
Like we're saying, there's no standard, but apparently, so let me just set the stage for or viewers, replay crew as well. There's some authors out here in these streets demanding 4 and 5 star reviews for things because according to them, 3-star reviews is not enough. So, like when you read a book and you're like, yeah, it was okay, but isn't like, I gotta go tell my friends to read this, or in my case, it's flawless. Because if it's a 4, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll recommend this. If it's a 5, it's I'm buying 12 copies and just giving it out to random people in the street. I'm shouting from the rooftops, and I think it's perfection. It might have a little flaw, but for the most part, perfection. But we have a lot of okay books that we read. I mean, me personally, there's so many books that I'm like, no, this was great. This was good for the moment. It was entertainment. We don't recommend every movie we watch. We don't recommend every restaurant we go to or other things we buy that, has ratings and reviews assigned. So my question is, what is it with this 3-star review? I'm also curious from an author point of view. So Kelly, I'm definitely going to be leaning on you on the author side and the Amazon side on why 3-star reviews are just not enough.
This drives me nuts to no end. Like I've been in many conversations about this in general, because as an author who was strictly a reader turned podcaster, bookstagrammer, I know how much work that we put in, like as the reviewers, as the readers, as the book talkers, like the bloggers. And so for me, it feels like a gift if anybody is willing to read my book. Like, I am more than happy to give out, as whoever requests an ARC, spoiler alert, they get one. Like, I love, because I just feel like there's so many books out there. Like, we see so many coming out that, in my opinion, you should be thankful that somebody chose your book, and you don't get to dictate, you don't get to set conditions that come with reading. Now, I do understand from a business standpoint, which is not my strongest suit, that the reason authors are specifically asking readers to, 1, review 4 and 5 stars, 2, if you review lower than that, to hold off on posting your rating until a few weeks after release week, ties back into Amazon's metrics, where they push out the books that tend to have 4 and 5 star rating averages, as well as ones that have, I think it's over 50 ratings or reviews. So I do understand that, especially if you're a new author, if you're an indie author, if you're just trying to get your book out there, that the last thing you want is to get it out there and it not reach its full potential because you're not getting the feedback that you want, feel like you deserve. I'm not sure. Maybe a combination of the two. But as a reader turned author, I can't ask readers to do that, like, because I've been in that position. I've been on the receiving end of that. I know Laura has, I'm sure all of us have, where receiving an ARC comes with stipulations. And I think some people will argue that because you're being granted early access and free access to that material, that you do owe the author something in response. But to me, what that trade-off is for is your time for reading the book, and however you decide to review and promote it, regardless of whether or not it is a 5-star review, it is a 3-star review, it is a DNF review, because I've had my fair share of those for my books as well. And I can't blame them, because they still took a shot and read my book. So I know this is like probably a long-winded answer, but I can't in good conscience ever ask readers to bend to my will when they're granting me the honor of reading my book.
I think for me, it's very easy. It's like you're the artist, you create something, you put it out there, now it's no longer yours. So what the reader does with it, that is their choice. But Becky, I'm curious, what's your take?
There's a level of it that kind of bums me out, because when an author asks for 4 and 5-star reviews, you know, it's like, well, why did you write this book? Did you write it to get good reviews, or did you write it because you enjoy the process of writing and you want to reach people, and this is a creative entity? And so I live in Los Angeles. I'm attempting to be in the entertainment world, and there was just this episode of Hacks where, you know, someone was asking the comedy writer, like, do you have any advice for someone who's like not being able to break in? And she goes, you just need to enjoy where you are now. You need to set goals for yourself that like are achievable, that you enjoy, that like, okay, if you're going out like hoping that your book is just going to be 5 stars across the board and become the next Fourth Wing, you're going to end up disappointed. But if you have a goal to write a book and, you know, reach some people, because Kelly, your books reach me. You know what I mean? And like, that should be, I mean, for me, I were an author, that I would find the success. You're leaving, like, your legacy is how you're making one person feel. You're making one person feel good. Like, that should be the success. That's personally my opinion. And I think, like, when we see authors, it just is like that, those students who like need to get straight A's all the time. And it's like, shut up, a B is fine. You know what I mean?
Stop talking about me, Becky. Leave my report cards alone.
No, but like, here's what I'll say is that, like, one time I was like that, and I got a B, and I went up to the professor, and I was like, this isn't fair, like, da 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 da, and she was like, I was a B student, and I was very proud of myself. And so then I had to do the old, like, ooh, you know what I mean? Yeah, so you had to walk it back, and so it just is. I don't know. It bums. I guess it just bums me out because, like, you would think that, like, when I'm reading a book, I want to think that the author. I know writing's hard, but like, I want to think that the author is having a great time creating something and transporting me, not trying to like just be the number one author on Amazon. It's nice. But the fact that, like, that's your number one goal, there's something just so disingenuous about it.
Yeah.
I think it's, I love what you're saying, Becky, for sure. And I co-sign all of that. I will add that I know, again, books and publishing and just everything, it's a business. And I do feel like people should be compensated for their time. But what gets me is the fact that the author isn't doing what you're saying, which is focus on the people who are giving you those good reviews authentically. Trust that they will help spread the word, and eventually you will get that breakthrough, but you're already just enjoying the process anyway. It keeps you going. But I have to say, I don't know anyone who produces content like Laura. I mean, Laura has podcast interviews up to wazoo. So I want to hear what Laura feels about these author demands.
So I don't publicly rate anymore because I got in trouble for a 3-star review. Not even a review, a 3-star rating. I just rate it because most of the books I read are 3 stars. It doesn't matter because what I like may not be what you like. And so I don't review. I recommend, because a lot of times I found that 1-star reviews are actually a better indicator of the book I would like because you're telling me all the things you hated about it. So I don't rate, I don't review. It's going to be a paid subscription if you want to hear my honest thoughts about it. But the reality is that it's just like, it's a condition upon. It's like, I'm giving you this and I expect you to do this response. And it's like, but that's not the only way. Like, the whole point is for you to share the book. And if you find it, you're likely to tell your friends about it. And you're going to tell your friends and friends and friends. I'm of the mind that I read widely and I read a lot and I talk to a lot of authors. And so what I may not like, I still have to provide an opportunity for other people because other people's audience will fit into that. I have friends who have very diverse interests and I have them come on the show and talk about those books and they're passionate about it. And those books are going to be the ones to sell those people. It's like, you want to find your audience. You don't want to find like the whole world. You want to find one person. And here's the thing, my podcast, I don't ask for ratings or reviews. I know ratings and reviews are a great way to get more audience and all these different things. My podcast ratings are like 3.5 stars. And I'm okay with that. I'm not like losing sleep and crying over it. I'm like, okay, my reviews are bad, but you know what? I still show up. I enjoy the process. I still do my process and I still get downloads. So it doesn't really matter. Like, the ratings are not gonna make your stuff. I'm still earning money because you're still downloading the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the best lesson that honestly any artist can learn, like regardless of the medium, is that you're not going to be for everyone. No. Like, I mean, it's the sooner you accept that, the easier. Maybe not the easier. I think you will be able to more easily approach what you write and do it with like a fervor for this is what I want to write, regardless of what people think about it. There will be an audience for you. I teach creative writing classes, and I tell this to my students all the time that someone will be your biggest fan, like regardless of what it is you're writing. If you switch genres halfway through your career, if you write novellas that are 20 pages long. Look at freaking Chuck Tingle, man. That man has like carved out his corner in the market, and he writes the most outrageous things and people love it, including myself. And so you just have to find your people and they have to find you. And reviews are one way to do that, but that's not the only way.
Definitely not the only way. Francesca, I'm really curious how you feel.
Also, I don't think that a 3-star review is bad. Like, even if your average is like 3.2, I know there's a lot of people that will go on like Goodreads or something and they'll look at, oh, what's the average rating of this book? Oh, it's got to be more than that. But most of us are totally fine picking up a book and rating it 3 stars. I still enjoyed it. And a 3.5-star review for me, it's one that I would actually recommend.
Right.
So, I think that all of that is so subjective. I understand from a business point of view, if they want to ask that the review, if it's going to be less than 3, that they hold off. I have no problem with that, because I understand that from a business point of view. But you're still like not dictating what I would have to rate it, or or you can't post it. So I'm still gonna post what I want. But from a business point of view, like I can work with that. I can understand that you're telling me hold off for a week or 2. Totally.
But sometimes some authors come after readers, man, because that's what I've been seeing more than anything else. And that for me is a problem.
I think it's I hate that. Yeah, that kind of stuff bothers me a lot. I think, I don't know. And this was, I've seen people doing this kind of stuff like before I even started reading romance. And it just is like, you're just attacking people for, I don't know.
And it's happening too often to the point where now you have a lot of readers who are like kind of hesitant about reading or reviewing at all, which is sad, because I like when you see these readers being bullied for the way that they review, that's not accomplishing anything for the author. Like, if anything, that's going to make things worse for you and your brand, so to speak. And I will say one last thing to add to this is whenever I see this conversation come up, because this is like a recurring conversation that happens in book spaces, both between readers and authors, I'm always amazed by the amount of readers who say that they actually prefer to sometimes read the less than positive reviews when it comes to the books that they're choosing to read. That a lot of the time they go straight to the 1, 2, and 3-star reviews because they can read a synopsis and know what it's about. They can read a 5-star review and say, oh, great, it worked for this person. But they're always really curious about what are some of the things that didn't work for these people, for the readers who, maybe didn't love this book. And I find that so interesting in a good way. I really do appreciate that way of looking at it, because, again, we're not going to be for everyone, and that's okay.
Well, it's the other part is finding your reading twin, because I have friends, I have a lot of friends who have like different recommendations. I love scrolling through Goodreads and see what's up. And I have like trusted people who know similar tastes than I am, and those are the ones I trust. And if this person gives a 5-star, I know I'm going to hate this. Like, because we have different tastes and different perspective. And so it's allowing yourself to be okay with what you like. And I think there's the idea like you have to promote, you have to do this. Like, you don't have to. It's a choice. It's a choice if you want to promote the book. It's a choice if you want to review the book. It's a choice you have to. You can buy the book, you can rent the book, you can go for the library, you can get a Kindle Limited. Like, there's choices. It's not, nobody's putting a gun to your head and saying like, you must read this book and give me 5 stars. No, you can choose not to. And a lot of times I choose not to accept indie books because it comes with a contract of conditions that they want you to fulfill. And I just don't have the time for that.
Yeah. Also, on the book twins thing, I wanted to add that you, and it goes back to what Kelly was saying with reading the 1-star reviews. I have my twins that I hate everything they like. If they love something, I know I'm going to hate it, or vice versa. So I look for what they are loving so that I know to avoid it. Like if they're
Yin and
loving
yang.
something, if they're loving something, I actually do that more than like following somebody that has my same taste. I go against that. I'm like, okay, I know I like we don't match, and I follow them.
That's so funny.
That is a great thing. I personally I will gravitate to a 1-star review. Is that so? I'm that person. When I'm looking at restaurants, when I'm looking at service providers, I always filter, and I do it with books. It's just my thing. I want to see what the person doesn't like. And it's funny because my husband and I, we ordered pizza tonight, and when he was looking at the reviews, again, he does a similar thing at times, but he said, okay, we're ordering from this place because we're in a new area. We're ordering from this place just because the other one has bad reviews too. However, they're commenting on the service and the time. It's not the food. Whereas the other place, the bad reviews are on the food, not the service. So we're like, we don't care about service. We care about food. So we're going to go with that one. So similar to like with a book, for example, it's like I will go to a 1-star review. I will look at the things that they list. That's why I love those people. This didn't work. They hated this, and they just go off because they're passionate about it. And then if I read it and I was like, oh yeah, I'm not in the mood for that, don't care for that, oh yeah, I really don't like that either, then I'll pass that off. So I think negative reviews are actually good because then it helps astute readers find you and gravitate to you if they like it. And then in my opinion, then you will win out on more positive reviews. So ultimately you want a net positive, but you actually need some negative in there, man, to kind of help guide the right people to you. So that's what I'm saying. Don't hate on the negative reviews because actually it's kind of like a North Star for your ideal reader.
Yeah. I think they're just so concerned with the algorithm and Amazon pushing them versus reaching readers.
And that's they're going after the wrong target. That's my thing. And we see this across the board with too many things that the anger, whatever it is that you're feeling, it's being directed at the wrong people. This should not be directed at readers not reviewing the way that you want them to. It should be directed at the system that has been created that will only push you out if you reach a certain amount of stars or what have you. But I will say too, I don't know an author in the world of romance who has not also sold some books based off of 1-star reviews.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. So let it go. I promise. Y'all let it go. You'll find your right people, and then maybe you're a right person because of that picked it up, and then they blow you up on TikTok or blow you up on Instagram or blow you up on Facebook or YouTube. I used to think this way because again, you listen to people and you're a product of the people who start, always going after the algorithm. First it was Instagram, now it's TikTok, and things are changing. I'm like, let it go, focus on people because that's what the art is for. Art is for people. And then something just might happen that just turn things around for you and you end up in a different place. But on that note, another topic, the last one I wanted to really touch on is kind of related. It's whether or not book content creators should be paid for their work. I mean, we were just going through this whole thing about reviewing and rating and creating content. And like I said, Laura pumps out 1 million podcast episodes. And, Francesca is blogging and writing. I'm blogging and writing. Becky podcast. Kelly, you write and you've podcast prolifically in the past. You still do a couple of series from time to time. I mean, it is fair to say, all of us here know what it's like to create content. I know lots of people will see things and, that looks easy. And then when they get in the trenches, it's like, oh my gosh.
Free labor, baby, at its finest.
Free labor.
10 years. You're in it. Like, you're building it in over and over and over and over.
I know. Yeah. It is something. But real quick, do you think content creators should be compensated? And also, how do you feel about it? Because it's like, there seems to be a debate online, especially in the book community. I mean, it's in every subgenre community, but I feel in the book community, there's more of a purity culture. I can't find another word for it. That's what I have. I'm sorry. Just, don't shoot me. It's late on the East Coast. My words are lacking and it's my bedtime soon.
It's a good word for it, though.
In
I
more
feel
ways
like
than
we're
one.
It is.
And listen, I'm religious, okay? I believe in Jesus, but I feel like people treat books kind of like the people who come and knock at your door, like they're on mission trips and they're trying to convert you. And, you know, they're doing it without
That's a great example.
the payment they get is from the divine. And again, listen, I'm Methodist, okay? Went to church school my whole life, people. Love Jesus. But I feel in the book space, people treat it like religion to some degree. And
Yeah.
you shouldn't be compensated because then it's not pure. But I love my pastor. Shout out Pastor Jeff. Hey. I think he should be compensated because he is spreading the good word, right? And the man should get paid. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I know this is a bad analogy here, but work with me.
I think it's a great analogy.
I think it's great as well. And like the first thing, I have like something small to say about this, and then I'm gonna pass it off. Like I feel like with anything, I think you should charge your worth with, which is so funny for me to say because I'm terrible at doing that. But I think that there will be some people who kind of, to your point, Victoria, will say, I don't charge because I'm a real fan, or like I just do it for the good of, I mean, I'm thinking of like Jesus now. I'm like book daddy. Like, I mean, it's just, I see the comparison that way, where I do think that there will be some people who it's out of the goodness of my, and here's my thing. I think what we see especially happening in book talk and bookstagram is you see some people who are capitalizing on making their love of books a business. And you see some people who it is strictly a hobby. And I think both can coexist. I don't think there's anything wrong with, if you want to charge people for your services and try to make a business or even a side hustle out of it, like that's fine. And authors can choose whether or not they want to work with those people, because I think there will be a market of people who do want that. And then there will be the people who can't afford it. It's their first book. They would rather go a more natural route of getting things out there. And I think that's fine too. So if I leave it up to people's discretion of whether you want to sell it and whether you want to buy it. And if you don't want to do either, that's also okay.
And there are different business models. I'm the queen. From this group, I always look for ways to make money and like how to monetize. Yep. And there's not one way, not right way to do it. I charge by ad space. Like ad space are the ones like, and I don't charge like the little people. The little people may get a little like a lower cost. It's the corporations. I make money from Amazon. I make money from the big tax people that we are wanting to get money from. You know, so there's different ways. It's about like figure out what's gonna work for you and what's gonna make sense for your platform. It's not just selling out and saying like, I'm going to do an ad for every single thing. Like maybe not, because you're going to lose your trust. But it's about like understanding like who your platform is, what is your worth, and who are you willing to make money from? Like, do you want to charge people from your community and do a Patreon? Do you want to have charge authors to talk about, you know, do UGC content about their books and talk about the information, like do content creation that way? Or do you want to have a blog or a podcast and sell ads? There's different ways to do it. I think there's the purity is like, I'm not going to charge for my reviews. Well, obviously you're not going to charge for reviews, but Library Journal and Publishers Weekly charges for the reviews. That's the whole point. That's their business model. Those star reviews are paid for.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Francesca?
Pretty much what they just said. I agree. I think that there is a space in the community for people that want to charge and want to make money, and there's space in the community for the ones that don't, and they just want to, you know, post without any pressure and do as much or as little as they want and promote the authors that they genuinely just want. So if you are going to make it a business, there are many ways to go about it. I don't think that it should be like set rules, but if you do want to make this some kind of business or a side hustle, I think that the options should be there. And my biggest issue comes from like the big publishers, because I have seen in more than one occasion where they're doing a tour for a particular book, and they will send that out to like lifestyle creators, and there is a budget and they're getting paid for those posts, and that same book for part of that same tour is getting nothing for the book account. And I don't find that, it's completely unacceptable, because if there is budget to pay that kind of creator, there should be budget to pay the book creator, no matter what, period. So like, that's the part that gets to me, like I get more angry with, because I completely understand if an indie author doesn't have the budget, and then you can either you can work with it however you want to work with it, or you can decide that you're not going to charge. But where it's like the big business, they're just taking advantage.
No,
they're like completely like so like that gets to me. That's the part that I completely don't agree with.
What do you think, Becky?
Yeah, I'm with you guys on that as well. I don't even know what else to add. I just think that, we're like, people are like in a stage where like I feel like 10 years ago, like it used to be like, just work hard and you'll one day, realize.
I don't know. All I'm saying is I think this should be a choose your own adventure thing. It kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, like with the special editions and them being ridiculous prices, okay? And me even considering a $1,500 set of books, which I think were like 2 came in the set. Yeah, 2. To people buying and reselling. I mean, again, it's like choose your own adventure. If this is a business for you, and your business, here we are talking about money and business, is flipping and reselling, then okay, more power to you. Like Laura said, if you want to do ads, if you want to do this, so on. I do think from the business point of view, because I'm always a person who's saying, look, I want to make money from this. I love it. It's been a lifelong hobby. The fact that I now know I can make money through many different avenues, I just need to choose the adventure. I'm like, I'm going to go for it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, great. I just think there shouldn't be one standard for everyone. I think that's a thing I feel sometimes within this book community. I mean, I'm grateful for it because it brought me all of you. But at the same time, I think it's so easy to exert our will and this one way thinking on things. And I kind of feel like, there are multiple ways to look at things. So yeah, folks, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Like, what do you all think about
I want to add one more thing, which is part of that community is the fact that going back to the purity culture, the people, like the creators that feel so strongly that you should never charge for anything because helping the author and helping the book get out there, that is the standard. That should be your only goal. So they actually will go and attack or look down or whatever to any creator that wants to make money. Which, like I said, like just be aware that there are different people and there's space for all of that in the community.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, choose your own adventure, and your adventure is not my adventure. Yeah, just leave me out of it.
Mind your business.
Keep my name out of your mouth.
For me, if it's not Jesus, it's not free. So
and on that note,
end it there.
Jesus, it's
end
free.
it there.
End it there. I mean, like, even people with the different versions of the Bible, like, listen, money. If it's not Jesus,
they do. I mean, they do.
They do. That's what I'm saying.
Special edition covers.
Linen special foil cover with frame.
Gold foil editions of the Bible come in the store near you.
In there, it's extra.
You need to mark it and explain to me why I need to go with your edition of the Bible. I mean, there are a gazillion versions. You have the for him version, her, so on, so on, so on. So the same way you're spending. Yeah. So I'm just like, look, if it's not Jesus, it's not free. And that's my policy. It's very simple. A lot of work goes behind it. If I didn't love doing my newsletter, I promise y'all it wouldn't be going out every Friday like clockwork, and has been, since I started in late 2019.
Which is why my newsletter does not go out as often as it should, is because I am still trying to figure out how to love my newsletter. And maybe when I do, then I will send one out regularly.
You have to find that thing you love, because I'm telling you, it could be a little tweak and difference. It's like I've blogged before, and I've had like a website before, and I've deleted, shut down, book related stuff, not the crazy things. And I'm just saying, eventually your passion brings you back to it, and then something hits. And I kind of feel like I haven't hit goal, but it kind of hit. My husband says it has a pulse, so you can keep moving. It's like the Frankenstein. We're still making it. It's not ready to get off the bed, but we got a pulse here, and we're keeping it. So
yeah,
that's kind of the push. However, make no mistake, because I spend so much time working on it, I'm not working a full-time job. You work different part-time jobs to make other little ends meet. But it would be great to get to the point when you can pay all your bills from it. So if you're a person watching and you don't need this money to pay your bills, adopt me. So then I can do it for free. But other than that, I need some.
We're all up for adoption. Just want to put that out.
I'm happy to a 95 financially wealthy with like no family,
blue eyes,
widow. You know,
adopt us, right? You would get a very diverse range of entertainment at different times. And
you can have all 5 of us. You can have all 5 of us. We'll give you like a BOGO. Like
rare books.
You get 5 for 1, right? So that way we don't have to worry about charging people. But until then, unfortunately, we do. But the last thing I wanted to share kind of ends on a little positive note. There's some book to screen adaptations out here. Every Year After is based on some Carly Fortune book. Every Summer After, we also see that people are questioning which Emily Henry books are becoming movies. They listed those. And then we also found that J-Lo wants a Happy Place for her production company.
That surprised me. This one I'm very excited about.
Kennedy Ryan, Before I Let Go, has one. We also see these co-authors, their book Riffs and Refrains being adapted for TV as well.
And Kennedy Ryan is working on the adaptation of that.
Right. Yes, as well. And Kennedy has her own thing. So, yep, there's that.
Yeah.
For our literary girlies, Long Bright River by Liz Moore is in series for development. I love Long Bright River. I also enjoy The God of the Woods, which is the book in the back there. So there's that for you. The Fortunes of Jaded Women. That was a Good Morning America book club pick. I read it. I had fun. They're also considering that for a TV series. For our thriller people, Just Another Missing Person, Gillian McAllister. They're picking that up for TV possibly as well. Lisa Jewell, we just said None of This Is True, was one of the Book Talk Award books as well. That Netflix is very interested in that. We have this fantasy book, which I adored. I actually picked it last year for my summer reading guide. I say I picked it before Good Morning America. Okay, because my guide comes out all the way in May. So I picked it first. But this one is really good for people who love fantasies about books and, you know, magical books and libraries and things and whatever. So Ink Blood Sister Scribe is also to be adapted as a series as well. And also for my literary girlies, I loved Ya Gassi's Transcendent Kingdom. Also, if you're a fan of Homegoing, is it Homegoing or Homecoming? One of them. I love that too. But anyways, this is also in development for Sony Television thing. So point is, there are lots of book to screen adaptations. Are you all excited about any of those? Are there others that I didn't pull up because that was just a last minute screen grab? But any adaptations y'all are excited for?
I'm a Kennedy Ryan girly through and through. Like she is one of the authors that I will always recommend to people. And I will say she already signed a deal with, I forget the name of the series, but it's the basketball one, right? Where they're like, so that one is already in development. So this is like her second in development project, plus the one that she is writing and producing on behalf of the audiobook co-writers. And so I'm excited for her. I think like we've seen a couple of adaptations come out in the last year or two, and I've really enjoyed them. So I'm kind of here for more.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Carly Fortune one, and she also got the second book was picked by Meghan and Harry for their
Yes.
business.
Oh.
I don't know, because they have like a weird business going on. But it's kind of like cool. Like she's getting these books picked. So these are like
Nice.
steamy romance, like angsty romances and stuff like that. So it's great to see that in adaptation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Carly too, so I'm excited. Anything you're looking forward to, Becky? Even if it's not one of the stuff I shared.
I'm actually honestly looking more like, for me, I prefer TV series adaptations as opposed to movie adaptations. So I'm excited that there's going to be more romantic TV adaptations. I'm excited for all of them.
Oh, nice. What about you, Fran? What are you looking forward to?
Besides, I am looking forward to the Kennedy Ryan, but I am also looking forward to watching one that's, I think it's already out or it's coming out next month. I'm not really sure, but it's a YA thriller, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I think that's going to be on Netflix. If I
saw the
remember
trailer.
correctly.
It does
So I'm
look
excited
good.
for that. My co-blogger Suzanne loved the book. So you know me, I don't read the book. I'll just watch the movie. I don't know what it is. So I'm excited for that.
I saw that, and when I went back to do the screen grab, I'm like, where is it? And I was crunching for time. But yeah, I'm actually excited about that one too. And for TV series fans, this is a shameless plug. I'm watching right now, Lady in the Lake, watching and loving it, okay? I do recap videos, so you can catch episodes 1, 2, and 3 on the channel, because new episodes of this come out on Apple TV. They come out every Friday, which means if you're watching live right now, episode 4 comes out tomorrow on Apple TV, and I'll be recapping Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So every Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern. If you're international, 2 p.m. New York time, just do the conversion, whenever it's 2 p.m. in New York. I'll be recapping it, but I've been enjoying it, you guys. It's really fun. It's based on Laura Lippman's book, which I actually still have on my desk.
Great things about the show.
Listen, the show is giving. Episode 1, very slow. And I said that in my first review, which isn't my best review because it was my first one. I'm building confidence, y'all. But the first one is slow, definitely character building. Episode 2 is like a train, okay? We are going, things are happening. And episode 3, it's like, the train guy, he kind of peeled out the station real quick. Now he's at a steady chug, but we're going quick. We're not slow chug. We're going. So it ended on a cliffhanger, episode 3. I'm very interested to kind of see where it goes. We see these two women's lives run really parallel, and they don't intersect, but I love the moments when we see one character from one person's family kind of intersect with the other. It's kind of like seeing the two sons see each other, but one saw one, but not knowing any, there's no connection, obviously. There are slight differences to the book, which I'm really excited to kind of talk about once the show kind of wraps. But another thing I also want to say about the show is it's set in 1966. So just be aware, you guys, that it doesn't have the modern day sensibilities. All right. People be saying hella crazy things to each other. But I do think it's very representative of the time. And it's just facts, okay? Men were trash, and
they still are.
Aggressions were just part of daily conversation. And, I still like it. And the other thing I want to share is I found this picture. I wanted to share the fashions are giving. And I love it when they actually see each other. But again, the lady in the yellow, she's a Jewish housewife, and the lady, the black woman, she's not a single mom, but she's basically the only one really taking care of her children. These are the two women whose lives we're following. And I mean, I love this yellow suit with the Jackie Kennedy kind of pillow box hat. It's really giving fashion. And then Cleo,
exactly.
Yeah, Cleo has a little hat there, but you can't really see it with the umbrella being there. But she's like a store the department store mannequin. So she does her little things in the department store window, because that's what they did back in the day. Yeah. But the fashions are giving. Both women serve. I love that. And it's very interesting. So if folks are looking for a new series, it's on Apple TV. Yeah. Lady in the Lake.
Yay!
Oh my gosh, we've chatted about so much, you guys. Like, it's been a lot, but it's been a great conversation. I definitely want to shout out our special guest. So before we go, Becky, tell us about your platform, where we can find you, and where watchers can support you.
Yeah, I host the podcast Too Stupid to Live, where I review romance novels $5 and under. So obviously special editions are not ever going to be covered. Unless they're stolen. But it's a comedy podcast, but I also have special episodes where I talk with authors and soon to be favorite authors in the romance world. So check it out, TSTL Podcast on all of the social medias. On TikTok, I'm Beckles212. And yeah, Too Stupid to Live podcast. Check it out.
Yes, find them everywhere. And Kelly, tell us about you, your platforms, and how people can support you.
Yes. Well, before I started writing my own books, I hosted the podcast Boobies and Newbies. I started with book reviews, all romance, kind of segued into interviewing authors and also hosting panel discussion topics like this, where we talk about things in and around the world of romance. So I'm at Boobies Podcast across the socials. I have my website is boobiesandnewbies.com. You can obviously listen to podcast episodes wherever you get your normal podcast listens. I'm not publishing episodes right this second. I will be back during the holiday season for my favorite time of year, the 12 days of Boobsmas. But in the meantime, I am also writing, and I have a book that is out August 22nd called Pitches Be Crazy. And it's the second book in my baseball romance series set in the Pacific Northwest where I live. So I'm at author Kelly Ray on Instagram and at Real Kelly Ray on TikTok. I'm chronically online, so you'll find me.
Yes, you'll find Kelly for sure. But also, your resident trio will be back next week, Thursday, to share more bookish things and happening. I want to share our upcoming show calendar. So next Thursday, again, we gather every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. If you're watching it international, again, do the New York time. 7 p.m. we're here. So next week we're doing summer favorites. So we're going to round up some of our favorite books we've read and loved this summer. Then we're really diving into the campus and academia novels. And it just so happens we three, the resident trio, myself, Laura, and Francesca, we're in Florida, and back to school is that week. So any parents watching, I know, it's crunch time. New Yorkers and people up north, you'll have a little time, but we don't. So we're jumping straight into those campus and academia novels, coincidentally, the week school starts. And then the following week, we're jumping into secret society college books. So secret society books, college books, we're really kind of going in there a bit more. So if you're looking for some back to school vibes, recommendations, whether it's for the nostalgia or maybe you're living it right now and you need someone to relate to, those shows are coming up soon. But that's it. Did I miss anything, ladies?
No, I was just going to say that I accidentally read secret slutty college books. Which just confirms that I need to go to the eye doctor.
Some of those book recommendations are going to be in there. I think we have a theme coming up, don't we, about teachers and people who misbehave. So I'm just saying, I think the theme is there. So maybe you're having a premonition, you're seeing, you're clairvoyant, yes.
Secret slutty college books.
I see you being a secret slut.
Listen, those people and tropes exist.
And we love them.
Yes. So I hope you'll join us for Novel Nights every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Convert it to your local time. And we're looking forward to seeing you then. And special thanks to Kelly and Becky for passing through. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.